There we go. All right. Yeah, so at first it's going to be a little bit daunting because since we started with the basics, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, since we have that knowledge, then once we jump and we cross the Rubicon, yeah, and jump into Visual Studio, that is where it's going to become difficult for maybe other people to follow. And even for you, a little bit if you're not 100% sure of where we are or what we've been, what we've done so far. Yeah. Um, so, and also, like I said last time, that is sort of where the money is, or that is the hard resource to get. Like to go have somebody go through the Visual Studio, the environment, and tell you what's what. I mean, anybody, there's thousands of videos out there with HTML, CSS. I mean, we have W3 schools, which we've been using. It's a lifesaver. It's really, really good. But once you start getting into the Visual Studio, let me switch over here. Once you start getting into Visual Studio, then it's a lot harder to find resources that teaches you how to do, how to use it and what to do with it. I mean, you can, but you'll get lost. It's like, it's like what is it, Babel Tower or something like that. It's like everybody just telling you, hey, do this, do this, do this. So it's very difficult, well, it's very easy to get lost, I think. So that's what we're going to do.
There's a lot of wiggly bits that people won't tell you, or that you'll need and you don't know that you need it, or it's not look what you're looking for, and it'll just ruin everything.
Yeah. So it's very easy to get lost, and once you start delving into the studio. So, I mean, that is one. And also, before we get there, um, because what we're going to be studying, we're .NET developers. We're going to be .NET developers, right? Correct. And with Visual Studio, there are different ways. There's mainly two ways of doing a web page or doing web-based applications. One is ASP. The other one is called MVC. Now let me bring some up here. Okay, I did not. Yeah, actually, this is an okay way of doing this. Let's see. Okay. Oh wow, this is great. This is actually. You guys see this picture here?
I can't quite read it, but
Yeah. Sorry. Okay. Could you guys make this here? Sort of picture here. It's just like a little, like a kind of a chubby guy with.
You need a lot of code.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so let's do a little history. I know this might seem a little boring, but it's very important for you as developers to understand the history of development in .NET. You guys agree? I mean, it's kind of important because we're going to be using a technology that is not advanced, but it's different than what people used to use. Okay, at the beginning, when we started doing, well, first of all, HTML, just a web page, pretty straightforward, right? We use this. It's pretty easy. Okay, but back then HTML pages were pretty dumb. All you could do is just put some HTML in there, and if you wanted to do things to make things interactive, or if you wanted to do any kind of business application with it was kind of tricksy. So Microsoft came up with something called ASP, Active Server Pages, and they were pretty powerful, and it was very good. I mean, I used to do ASP back in the day, and people still do. It has gotten a lot better, but this is this is not totally accurate. And accurate, and ASP programmers are going to hate me for saying this, but it's ASP is not very efficient and has a lot of bloat. Okay, that's why you guys you see this dude over here, the code behind and stuff. So when in ASP, the way you could when you created a web page, you had a form or something, right? And you wanted to go back to the server, all the data had to go back to the server. it's kind of, I'm kind of blurring it, and it's not 100% accurate, but you get my point. So what do you think? I mean, is that a good idea? Is that a good way of basically, so anyone clicks on something or wants some information uh, from the server, they go back, send all the data, and then the server sends all the data. So it's a lot of bandwidth, and sometimes you might not have all that bandwidth, right? Let me see if I could give you some. Oh, actually, I think we could just do the same here. Uh, I don't think they have the old one here. This is just for ASP. But I mean, we're not really going to be doing a lot. We're not going to be doing ASP here a lot. Normal ASP. We're going to do something called ASP Mvc. Okay. So far so good?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I know you guys, I will show you later on what the difference is, what the code looks like. But we are going to go straight to NVC. We're not even going to be touching ASP. Later on, we will go back and I will show you what ASP looks like. But not now. We don't need to. There's absolutely no reason to go back there. Just know that it's a way of building a web page that back in the day was not very efficient. Okay, so far so good with that. Okay, so now, then something came up called MVC, which stands for Model Viewer Controller. You guys see this thing here?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I totally expect you to be lost here and don't get it right away, and that is totally okay. That is totally okay. We'll get there. Feel free to ask questions if you're not sure. But once we go over this, hopefully you'll have some kind of idea of what we're going to be doing. Again, I do understand that this is somewhat of a foreign concept or a foreign environment to you. A lot of the stuff is going to be new, and you're not going to know what the hell. So I'm going to ask you to take a leap of faith, or at least take it, as my word, some of the things that I say or that we do. Is that cool? All right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So NVC. What NVC is, it's a different way of making web pages. Okay. So, and let me go back to the picture here. And it's very light. You guys see the light here, the skinny guy? So yeah. So the way MVC works, it divides parts of the web page and into, well, it's kind of, I'm not gonna explain all of this 100% yet. That's probably for another part. But it's just a different way of doing web pages that is a lot lighter than the web form. And NVC, you go back to the server for only the information that you want when you want it. You just keep it simple. That's all it is. You'll see what it looks like soon. All right. Yeah. So normal ASP web forms and whatnot. And with the code behind, slow, not very good. NVC, pretty good. Also, the MVC framework, most people nowadays, or most companies, use NVC. When people look for .NET developers, they most likely they will be looking for an NVC developer, or they will be looking for somebody that knows ASP. That is, converting the application to MVC. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so last time. Now I'm going to give you guys a choice here. You guys get to decide somewhat. Maybe this might not be the best way of to do things right now, but it's we get to decide, because you guys remember we didn't go all the way to jQuery, but we might not need to go deep into jQuery right now. What we can do, are you guys good in HTML somewhat? Like, you got a little understanding of what's going on?
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful. CSS as well. and JavaScript, a little bit of JavaScript also. You guys remember a little bit from the last one. Okay, so what I would like to do today is give you a little bit of an intro into Visual Studio. We can do that. But before we do that, I think we have to go over, maybe spend a few minutes on what a server is, a web server, and where your code resides. And then we're gonna go into Visual Studio. You guys ready? Well, how many people got it to work? Do you guys install Visual Studio? Have you done it yet?
Yes, I installed the Visual Studio Community 2017 version.
Beautiful, beautiful. Which package did you do? Did you do the web development package? Aha, see. We could probably do it together later or something, or I could make a because you're supposed to install the web package, the web development package. They give you a whole bunch of options. So if you install
for 2017, the options were kind of slim.
Yes, yeah. So, but there was one that just said web development. So hopefully you chose that one. The rest, I went over all of them. The rest, they just said desktop, and then web. So if you went with the web, the only thing that you might not have done, not correctly because you didn't know, is it asks you what things you want to install, and you had a bunch of checkboxes. It was good maybe to check the one that's at MVC, add MVC 4.0 or something like that. But you could do that afterwards, so you'll be fine. Okay, so let's continue. I have a PowerPoint. Look at that. That's right. Okay, so now, that's my shapes. Sorry, gonna be a little bit here. Oh, before we go on, also, you guys remember all about memory, right? And all variables are boxes and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yes. Good. All right. Okay, so we have here. Okay, so actually, I think it's just. Let me just look it up. Much easier. Web server. Yeah, my prep for images today is it's pretty sucky, so bear with me here. I have web server twice. Okay, I already failed. Let's go back to web server diagram. There we go. Sweet. There we go. Yeah, just make believe that I had this prepared for you, all right? Actually, can you guys see? You can see my screen, right? Or not yet?
No,
you cannot. Okay, so never mind. I just pretend that I had everything already set. So I'm still looking good here. Okay. There we go. I prepared this earlier today for you right here. Yeah, sorry, if I ever just go off on a tangent while clicking on stuff, just let me know, hey, we cannot see the screen or something. Okay, so, and again, I'll be making better slides for you later on. So, the way that web pages work, or, web applications work in general, are, you have the UI, which we've been talking to, right? Which is used by the web browser. So you're in your home somewhere or anywhere out in the world. Yeah, they're out in the world, and you use a browser like Chrome. And then that makes a request. Sorry, you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, cut out for some reason. Okay, the client makes a request to the web server. Okay, now, for our purposes, this is very important. I know I'm going to repeat this a few times and it's going to sound stupid and simple, but I want you to remember it. Okay. For our purposes, our HTML files and our backend code is going to be on a web server. Okay. I know it's easy. Easy peasy. Okay. If you got that, give me a thumbs up. We're good, right?
We're good.
Okay. And yeah, so it's on a web server. So a web server, all it is just a computer somewhere that has our files, our HTML files. Remember, all is just our text files and our compiled code. Okay. So there's a web server here. I'm just going to make, that's right. I'm going to do a text box here. Look at that. So in this server, we're going to have HTML pages, and we're going to have code, our compiled code. Actually, I'm going to take, well, yeah, I'll leave. Let me just add another box here just so we don't forget. Yeah. Layout, we're insert. Just bear with me here. Text box, okay. Here. Yeah. Okay. Please don't shoot me for the lack of it. Okay, web server. HTML pages and our compiled code. Now, normally, so again, it's a computer with our web HTML pages and our compiled code. And normally, you can just have your own computer and create your own server and say, hey, you know, I'm going to set this up and use some kind of server, and then I'm going to set up all my code on there. Or you could pay somebody which is a host, like GoDaddy or something, and they can host and hold your code for you, like your compiled code and your HTML pages. So then when someone makes a request, it goes to their server, and you know they can see your web pages and use your compiled code. Okay. Yeah. So again, it's a server, and it's on a computer somewhere, which you may pay people to host for you, or you could create your own. I know I keep saying that, but you guys understand that, right? So far, so good. It's a simple concept.
Yes.
Code HTML is somewhere on a computer. So for example, if you have something like Squarespace or anywhere, really, I mean, this is just a place where your code is kept. Okay. There's a point why I keep repeating it. No worries. Okay, so got a sweet web server here, Shiblips. And that's now on to the next step, which is, again, as long as you guys understand this part here, we can move on. Okay, so I took the liberty of installing the new Visual Studio today, and hopefully it works. So let's see, because normally I use this, but let's try to use the same one. All right. Let's see if it installed. Okay. Do you guys see it here? Visual Studio.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So I'm going to open it. Hope it doesn't crash. Boom. Look at that. Okay. I hope you guys are taking some kind of maybe note. Well, I mean, we have that video, I guess. But make sure, you know, take some notes if you can. So what we're going to do is, from now on, all these things are going to seem confusing and daunting. Don't worry about it. Just follow along, and you know, we'll be okay. Okay. This is the first page. Yeah, was that? Sorry.
That was just a copy. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is the first page. You're gonna have news here about some of the cool stuff going on. It gives you sometimes suggestions about things that you might want to use, and all around cool stuff. Also, before I forget, uh, remind me to talk about. I think it's VS Code. I think it's VS Code or something. That way I don't forget. All right. We'll talk about this later. It's a nice. It's like. Was that? I'm sorry.
Like Visual Studio Code?
Yes. Yeah. It's an editor like Notepad plus. It's like Notepad plus plus,
Oh, okay.
but a lot better and very convenient. So yeah. So we'll get there later. That was just for me, to remind myself. Okay. So now we're here. Okay. So here. So let's you got all these little buttons and squiggly things here. So what we're focusing on is to create a new project. It's gonna be a project here. Boom. Okay, so what kind of project are we interested in?
It looks like you have it already up there for us.
I do. Look at that. Indeed. So if you installed it correctly, and Visual, I chose to install it in C Sharp. Um, and if you have any questions or anything when you're installing it, or if you already installed it and you get these same options, then you did it correctly. If not, we could go over. Okay, so for now, okay, with Visual Studio, we want a web application, and it's going to be normal ASP web application here. Okay. Okay, you see? You could create ASP web forms. Web forms is the equivalent to old school ASP. Okay, so that is web forms. And I could already hear the ASP developers just cursing at me or something. But yeah, yeah, yes. Web forms, it's old school. MVC is what we're going to be using. Web API we will discuss later. So yeah, this is what we want here. Let's call it Hello World or something. So blips. This tells you what is going to be the name of the project. This is the framework. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on talking about different frameworks, but just know that the frameworks are the different versions of the language of C Sharp. That's one way you can think of it, or the .NET framework, pretty much. Go ahead, Dan. You have the questions?
Nope. That was okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so those are different versions. Some versions have every time the language is updated, they add certain functionalities that, of course, the previous one didn't have, and it tends to be more powerful and pretty good. Like as you can see, it has evolved, right? Into it's gotten better and better and better. So every time one of these two changes numbers, the language has evolved quite a bit, and it becomes very powerful. Once you hit here 4 and 4.5, that's when it became even more powerful because it added a lot of things to deal with list and databases to make it pretty convenient and very powerful. We'll get to that later. Like it's called link queue. But anyway, we're here. We got hello world, and then we're going to say okay. Create directory for solution. Don't worry about what source control is. We'll go over that later. Okay, now this is important right here. So
like an SVN, basically.
I'm sorry, what?
Like an SVN.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's a repository for code, SVN. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know you didn't want to get into it, but I.
No. Let's see. Yeah, probably later on we can today. Okay, so here we have what kind of application, what kind of web applications do we want? I will spend a couple of minutes here. So web forms, what do we say about web forms? So is this what we want here right now?
No.
No? Okay, so this is probably what we want right here, right?
Yes.
Yes, so MVC. Uh, all these other ones are different. They're different kinds of projects. Uh, Web API is mostly for services, which we will go over later on the advanced section. Single page application is one of the most powerful things and really one of the most popular things that is going on right now. And if you master this right here, that is money. Say it with me. That is money.
Money.
That's money.
Yeah, because banks and a whole bunch of other places are using it. In a Sure API app, kind of a, it's kind of services that you can use in the marketplace and the Azure platform. It's a decent. I haven't really used it a lot, but I think it's a good way to make money or at least list some your services out there on the marketplace. Okay. So, oh yeah, before we go on, let me spend 1 second here on single page application. Um, this is very powerful. You use certain, like, I don't know, certain technologies to do these frameworks. That's the word I'm looking for. Frameworks to do single page applications. They're really powerful. You like it says, it's use JavaScript, HTML5, CSS, and among other things like Angular to make single page applications. Anybody ever hear of Angular? Probably not.
Nope.
No, we'll probably get there. Banks, uh, you guys use Google Mail, right? Gmail?
Yes.
Okay, Gmail is a single page application. You see how you never see a transition from one page to another. It just things just happen on the same page.
Okay.
That is what a single page application is. And when you click on something, everything on the page changes based on what you clicked, and you retrieve the information, only the information that you need. It's they're very efficient and they're very cool. But yeah, we'll get there. We will not be doing this for a while, but maybe later on. I do not. I mean, I'm not a professional in it. You guys will probably be better at it than I am if you stick with it, and that's totally okay. But for now, MVC. Let's do this. Okay, so MVC. Don't touch anything else. Unit tests we will go over um, what they are and the advanced things. So for now, we're good. Authentication, we'll go over that later as well. So we're continuing. Okay, now get ready to be for your brain to get blown away because this is the hard part right here. Not the hard part. This is the initial uh, brunt, should we say, of the course. Remember, a lot of the things that we're going over today, especially when it comes um, to this application, you're going to have to take on faith. I can't really explain a lot of everything step by step or why it's there or how it is. It's just the way it is. This is NVC. This is how it works. Maybe I'll tell you the history and all that good stuff later. But this is how you'll be working. And this is what your view will look like, at least when you work on some NVC pages. This is your bread and butter right here. Okay. Now, I really do. This is where you might need pen and paper. Okay. But you might want to, yeah, you might want to whip it out or something to do, or hopefully watch the video, or just try to remember if you're like really smart. Okay, so I'm gonna insert new slide. Sorry, I keep on interrupting here. Hmm. We'll get here in a little bit. Okay, so text box here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this is how an MVC application works. It consists of three main ideas. Once I find the text box, yeah, here we go. Then we'll go over those ideas. Okay. Okay, so MVC stands for model, view, controller. You guys have no clue what these are, and that's totally okay. It is totally okay. Okay. Yep. So, model. Okay. All this means that in this type of technology, a model is going to represent an object, either a real object or, or unreal, I don't know, like a person. So in this case, a person or a car or a bank. So it represents an idea or it represents anything. Is that kind of clear? So maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it could be anything. Remember, it's going to represent that. For now, let's just say it's a person, okay? One second. Or idea. All right. Let's see. So, the view. This is going to be the user interface part of MVC. This is going to be the equivalent of our HTML pages. It's pretty straightforward. Okay. So the user is going to be dealing mostly with this part, the view. So it's sort of the representation layer. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry. You good?
Sorry, no,
You good?
I was just messing with my settings. I
No,
thought
no
it
worries.
was something when I wasn't trying.
Okay, now the controller. What the controller does, it routes traffic. That's all it does. It routes traffic and directs actions to where they're supposed to go. I know it sounds a little weird, but what that means is, well, let's see. Yeah, just routes traffic. What that means is that, remember, we're dealing with a view here, correct? So let's pretend that the user is going to be clicking on the web pages. So when you click on one of the links that says go to the next page or go to the index page, what happens is, or what will happen is going to go back to the server. Remember, we talk about the server, right? Yeah, it's a web server. It's going to go back to the web server. And the controller is going to say, hey, what do you want to see? Oh, you're trying to get the index? The index action? Okay, go here. And then it takes you to the index action. Or the address or the history or the about page. It pretty much it controls the flow of traffic. Again, I'm going to keep saying it, and please forgive me, but it's important. Yep. So controller routes traffic, and we will go through it, and I will show you how exactly it works in an application. Okay. So we got the model, got the view, the controller. Okay, so far so good? Somewhat?
Yes. Somewhat.
Okay, beautiful. Routes traffic, HTML pages, the view, and represents, it's an object that represents, that represents an object or idea. Okay. No, actually, let me, check, let me fix this, sorry. Person idea. Okay, so now, here we go. Yeah, again, so remember, you got to take some of this on faith at the beginning, and then once you see how it works, it's going to be pretty nice. Okay, so now, the most important and the coolest feature of Visual Studio is, guess what? It can pretend to be a server. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up.
That sounds cool.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. You gave me a thumbs up, Dave, right? Okay, good.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So it can pretend to be a server. So it can emulate pretty much how it would look at how things would work on a real server. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, it's gonna seem like magic. Don't freak out or anything, but let's see what's up. I'm going to press this button here. You see, it says IAX Express. Okay. From now on, whenever I talk about IAS Express, I'm talking about the server that Visual Studio uses. So it's kind of like the face server. It's your local server somewhat. Okay. So I'm saying when I press this, the play button, it says, hey, run this object and use IAS Express. So basically, run this project. It's already a project. They give you kind of like a sample project. So it's gonna have pages in it, and it's gonna have things already defined, which is great for us to learn, right? It's very convenient. Okay, so here comes the magic. I'm gonna press it. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Don't worry about that. That's just something else. It still hasn't come up. Don't worry about it. And I don't need this crap here. Okay, here we go. Yep. Okay, so now this is the magic right here. This is the money shot in a way. Sorry. First of all, don't panic. You can go back. Okay. You notice how we're on a web browser now? Do you see it? We're on a web browser. Okay. And if you want to go back and see Visual Studio, this is Visual Studio, and Visual Studio is running. Okay. These are somewhat, kind of tools that you can use to check how it's working and how much memory is taking. Now we don't need any of that. That's bullshit. Yeah. We don't need any of that, at least not yet. Okay, so let's see here. So remember, like I said, they have kind of a prepackaged website here. So this is a website that it came with this project because it's kind of a test project. And don't freak out. You guys see how this is over here? Pretty sweet, right? Okay, now, two things. I'm on a web client. And you see localhost? For now, IIS is it's using IIS. Visual Studio is using IIS to behave like a normal web browser that we would see out there. I mean, a web server that we would have out there. So it's instead of this, you would have your website, www.tastytaste.com or something. right? Yeah,
Basically serving from the literal local host.
that's exactly what it is. Yep, it's it's once you started, the files are in C somewhere. All right. Ignore any porn you may see. Don't worry about it. Just ignore. Actually, I think this is clean because it's my work computer, so we're okay. Get a little PUBG stuff though, getting that chicken. But anyway, yeah, iNet Pub. This is where it is. So for now, we don't need any of that at least. Yeah. So right now we have a fake server that is pretty powerful, and it emulates what it would look like or what it would be in a real server. Good. And what does it look like? I mean, is this a web page? Does it work? What's happening here? Let me see. About okay. Look at that. So it is a working web page, isn't it? Do you guys see it?
It's like one.
Yeah, I mean it is indeed. And you see, this is linking to ASP.NET. So if I were to click on this, it would go outside to ASP.NET. So in essence, it's a website, just like just normal, like it would be out there. All right, good. Now to define and go over what we were talking about before, what MVC means to us in the real world. How do we use it? What the hell is it? It's just some funny words. Let's use it. Okay. The first thing when we start learning MVC or how to do web pages with MVC, the most important, the first thing we have to go through is the view, and that's HTML pages. Okay. So the way we do that here is, let's go back to it. Okay. I hope you guys are taking notes. And because this is kind of important. Okay. The way MVC works, I forgot what the actual term is, but you see this structure here, the way this structure is in this project, this is the project. And you guys see all of these folders here and their names? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. They are always the same. Isn't that awesome? So, oh, the word is convention. Yes, convention. They are always the same. So by convention, in every MVC project you will ever do, this is what it will look like. All these folders are always going to be there because the convention is the system MVC expects them with that name and exactly where they are. This is kind of very convenient because you could save a lot of code and a lot of grief as opposed to something like non-MVC where the tree can look like anything. And so believe me, take my word for it. And if the tree can look like anything and you have kind of no, it's kind of chaotic, things can get pretty ugly pretty fast. Again,
with WPF, you could have pretty much anything you want in there, and nothing is.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, you could add, you could add folders and all that stuff, but these are always here and should always be here because again, is by convention. And again, you'll get why it's kind of good and why it's important because we can assume when you write code, you can assume that these will be here and that they will do what they're supposed to do. So again, I want you guys to write that word down. I'm going to write it down with you right here. Look at that. All right. Convention. If I can spell it. Convention. Oh, let me manipulate. What is it? jQuery, yes. HTML, that's right. Okay. So by convention. So all that is just that it expects things to be a certain way and in a certain place. Okay, so since can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if you could read these here. I might need to make the fonts bigger.
Very clear right now.
Okay.
Views.
Beautiful. Yes. So content controllers. So
Apps, controllers.
based on what we said before, like the views and UI. Let me. Where would we keep HTML pages or things having to do with views here or representation?
I'm trying to click on it.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, and views, right? Okay, great. So I just remembered something which is great. So remember, so the view part is the representation layer. Oh yeah, representation. I guess layer. UI, HTML pages, whatever you want to call it. That's the representation part of web pages. Okay, let's see. You gotta maybe move this up or something. Shablips. So we would find them in. Well, let's see what's in the views. So views. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Now I'm about to. This is where you guys gotta kind of follow along and try to figure things out because once you figure this out and can work it out, it's going to be much easier and it's going to be a lot smoother. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. The leap is going to be tasty. Okay, so, I mean, there's just views, right? So, do you guys see the About page here?
Yes.
Okay, do you see what it looks like?
Headers and a paragraph.
Yeah. It's. Do you know what this is?
The body.
Yeah. It's all it is just HTML, right?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. All it is just HTML, and we have contact. These are parts of it. Make believe that the body is somewhere else, like the actual text for body is somewhere else. At least for now, sorry. And we got index here. So you guys see that it says ASP is a free network. So let's just say that, I mean, if you see this, where's the, okay. Yeah. Let's see, where's our web page? Oh, it's here. Okay, so this is a web page. And normally when you start off an application and then we see the first or the default page is called the index. Say it with me.
The index.
Index. That's right. We will I'll create some fancy sweet documentation, but for now it's called the index. So in here, which one is the index? It's like Dora the Explorer up here. This one here, right? This is the index. So this is what's going to show up here because it's the index. If I go to about here, right? So let's say H1, and I say, yo, let's see, H1, hello. Then I save it. Then I go here and refresh, press F5. Actually, yeah, there you go. Press F5. And then, you guys see that?
Yeah.
So this is that. Now, one thing you may have noticed with your sharp eyes is that you see they're not really HTML documents, right? They are C# CS HTML documents. So that means that they're not they're not strictly HTML. They could be normal flat HTML. So, but they could also contain a hybrid type of C# code as well, which we will get to later.
Basically, what we're seeing is all HTML, but that's not the whole of it.
It's not, no. Right now we're just seeing simple HTML, but you can mix HTML with C# code in these type of views. Okay. I'm skipping some things like the Razor engine and whatnot, but yeah, for now, this is where we're at here. Okay, so this is index. I just type stuff here. I go like, save it. And let's go to application. Go back. Here we go. And it's very decent. So again, in views is where our visual, well, the views pretty much are, right? The representation layer or the UI is going to be. Now, are you guys good with with the HTML so far here? And
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Now, so, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I should have asked. Are you guys good with the view? Yeah, with the view part, I think you guys are okay. All it is just HTML. Okay. Now, the next part about MVC is the controller, which is the tricksy and an important part here. It's not tricksy, just very important. So let's go over and see if you guys notice something. I'm going to test you. Okay, now, so make believe we're on the server. And you see these links here? You guys see these sweet links, correct? Whenever you hover over that hand, that means it's a link that can go somewhere. Okay. I am not sure if you're able to read, but I will read for you if you can't. But if I hover over this, at the bottom left, it tells you where it's going to go. Do you guys see?
HTTPS Asp.net.
Exactly, ASP.net, correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so that is going to go, let me move it here. If I click on this, that is going to go to ASP.net. Now I'm going to throw you a curve here because the next one you're going to see is going to be different. Now, if I, on about, what do you see here?
It's going through the local host again.
Yep. And then what is, from now on, whenever you refer to a link or where a link is going to, let's call it a route. Say it with me.
A route.
A route.
Yes. A route.
That's right. Look at that. Route. Yes. It's called a sweet route. And all a route is, it describes a path of, it's a way to get to your destination, right? That's all it is. So route, path to destination. Shablips. So all that is just telling you, hey, where are you going? Where do you want me to go when I click on these? So when I hit contact, do you see? I mean, when I hover over about, when I hover over about, do you see two words? You see the first one is home.
Yes.
And then the second one is about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the first word, it is called, well, the first word on the path or the route is called the controller. Repeat with me because this is very important. First, so let's see, home. Well, yeah. It's called the controller or controller name. second one is called the action. Okay. The way you can think of these is the controller name is what area, what neighborhood you want to visit. Okay, area or neighborhood. What is a neighborhood? What neighborhood you want to visit or area. And the action is which house or which function. Say it with me. You guys remember that word? Which function? Yes. It'll become clearer now. So yes, so controller action. So let's read out loud. About. So this is telling me. Sorry. This is telling me to go to the home controller and the about action. Correct? So home controller, about action. Let's see. So let me write it here. About. So in this structure, where can I find the controllers? Anyone know? Can anybody see?
The controller folders?
Indeed. Look at that. So yeah. So there's a home controller in here, right? You could tell that the home controller or the name of the controller by whatever goes before the word controller. So this is the home controller here. If I wanted to create a graphics controller, I would have to name it graphics and then add the word controller to it. That's kind of what it expects. That's the way it works by convention. Remember, a lot of these things, that's how it is. That's how it works because it's convention. That's what it expects. Okay, so controller. So I'm in the controller. So remember, so MVC, imagine there's like a genie out there somewhere with magical powers that routes you to whatever you click. So it tells you, hey, go here and then go here. So magically we made it to the home controller. So, and then the home controller contains three functions in a way. One is the about. Don't get confused. Don't let all of this stuff throw you off, okay? One is the about action. One is the contact action. And one is the index action. Okay, so which action did we want to go to? Anyone remember? Here. Remember, the first word home is the controller. The second word is the action. So do you guys see it?
We're going to the about action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So we're going to the about action. Yeah. All right. So we have reached the about action here. So magically, the genie has come here and says, hey, okay, so you're going to go to the about action. And actually, just forget about this for now. Just going to delete this. Actually, I can't because I'm already running. But yeah, forget about that. But yeah, so we're going to the about action, and this is sweet. So now, remember, by convention, this is going to be tricky, but once you understand all of this, it's going to be pretty cool. Okay, so now we're in the about action, and this, don't worry about this, and then it says, sorry, return view.
So the return is calling the thing that we're supposed to ignore when we click on that.
Oh, this here?
Yeah, so when it says return view, it's publishing the view for what's within those contents.
No. This is just passing a message to the web page. Don't worry about this.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. All of this is just like say, hey, send this to the. This is just a way of sending information to the front. Well, to the view in a way. Okay, so now we're here. Forget about this here, and actually, let me just take it out because yeah, that is kind of confusing. Sorry. Okay, so here. So we reach here, and then we say return view. So a couple of things are happening. I mean, a couple of things are happening here. Do you see that it says return view? Now, which view do you think is going to return, and what is a view? What do you think? Got to make you guys think here.
Return the HTML page?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Remember, views for us from now on are going to be pretty much the equivalent of HTML or some HTML web page or some kind of HTML section, or yeah, pretty much. That is most of the time for our purposes, at least for now. So now this is the tricksy part here. So remember, I'm talking about convention here. So things are expected to be in certain places. So where, if I wanted to show you the about HTML, the about page, the HTML for that, where would I go? Did you guys see? You guys haven't made the leap yet, but once you do, it's going to be pretty sweet. So from now on, do you guys see that you have a home controller here?
Yes.
Okay, so do you see in views? Here? And you have... Go ahead.
Yes.
So you have a folder called home here, which is named the same as the view here. You see it? So in here, you would put any views that, see, in here you would put any views related to this controller. Like I said, this is something you kind of have to take on faith, at least for now, until you get the full grasp of the flow. But you do see how it flows, right? So when I'm here, it's gonna ask, and also remember that it's gonna look for the same name. So if I do like contact, what exactly? Where is it? Is it? So basically, contact is referring to this guy here, because it's gonna be in the home controller here, and then it's gonna be in the action for contact, or it's gonna be the view for index, or about, or contact. Okay, so in essence, what we're doing, all that the controller is doing is telling you, or it's saying, hey, return this view. That is pretty much all it's saying. It's a way of, it's a mechanism to return a view. That's all it is. It's to follow a path. So when we go, I'm going to run it again. Sorry. So if you stop it, it's going to go away sometimes. And then if you run it again, it comes. Maggie, my dog's here chilling. Okay, so here we go. We are back. So contact. So say it with me. Now let's get into the habit. Let's get into whenever you do MVC programming, and this is important too, because this architecture is not only used. MVC is not only used by C#. It's used by a whole bunch of other stuff too. So if you kind of start understanding how the structure works, and you kind of get the hang of kind of accept how how this folder structure works and how it follows and where they're supposed to be, other things are going to be much easier for you. I can guarantee that. Okay, so let's practice. Let's practice. So remember, controller, viewer, controller, viewer. Okay, so if I home, what's home? Home, actually, that is index. Home is kind of the same as index. That's why you don't see it there. Let's see. Same as this. Contact. Uh, what's the name of the controller?
Home.
Yeah, and which action in home?
Contact.
Okay, and this is home, right? And about. Okay, so far so good. So far so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions so far? Hit me, hit me. Yeah, we will be. Oh, by the way, be assured that we are going to be drilling this a lot until you kind of get the hang and it flows. This is kind of going to be the tricksy or difficult part, but once you get through this part, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Um, okay, so controller actions, controllers actions. So controllers, remember, controllers are kind of let's see. Remember, the controller routes traffic. So whenever you try to click on it or anything, it says, "Hey, where am I going? Which controller and which action in that controller am I gonna retrieve?" That's all it does, or where I'm going. Okay. Now I'm gonna do. I mean, we're gonna go back to these, but I'm gonna briefly go over the model. Okay. I have good news and I have bad news. We're not doing anything with the models right now, but we will in the future. The idea of a model is that it represents an object in real life or imaginary. For example, let's say a person. So if I were to create an object in code, I will go over that when we get into more programming, advanced topics, well, semi-advanced topics. Um, the objects are passed around from action to action. So you could think as model. I mean, you could think of models as transportation vessels for information. So let's say I have a model of a person, and that person, and that model contains all the relevant information: birthday, height, sex, whatever. So in order to manipulate and interact with that object or that model, we need to pass it around the actions, kind of like functions. Do you guys remember? You guys remember JavaScript, right? All the stuff that we did with the functions.
Yes.
Yes.
Sweet. So you remember arguments and all that good stuff. Okay, so remember how we were passing um, information inside those arguments, like A, B, or num1 or num2? You do, of course, right? Yes.
Yes.
Uh, in a way, those are models. You see how they represent the information, or they hold information and you could pass it from one side or one place to another? Um, that's You guys have used models before. Those are our type of models, except we use very, very, very simple ones. For example, the models that we use were what were they representing? Do you guys remember? Let's see. Do you guys remember what kind of information they were?
We were representing people and ages.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. So one of them, num2 or age, was representing an age. It was representing a number. And the other one was representing a person, or at least the name of a person. And the type of information that it contained was the string. So imagine that idea, but expanding it and making it a bit more complex. And not only that it could hold one number, but imagine holding five numbers. You guys sort of get the idea, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is more of a programming idea, and yeah, programming. That is more of a programming issue. Well, not issue, but idea and topic. And we're not going to cover that right away or right now. Well, I mean, we're soon, but not right now. Uh, but yeah, so I just wanted to give you the idea of what the model was. So the model is just something that represents. Uh, it's just an object that represents a person or an idea that gets passed around. Okay, so view, we're good in the view, we're good in the controller. So just to solidify a few things, it's almost 10 o'clock actually. How you guys feeling? You guys good?
Good.
Okay,
For now, yep.
exactly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little. We're gonna write our own controller in our own views, and then we're gonna go from there. Mhm. One second. Um, a lot of this stuff I know is gonna seem, you guys don't know what the hell this is. Remember, step by step, little by little. Okay, we're gonna go what all of these things are eventually. For now, let's just focus on these. We'll tiptoe around. Okay. So we have a web page. We have a working web page that happens that comes up when we press this button, and magically it works. It works. And we have these pages here. Okay, we have a controller. You see the controller is pretty simple. Okay, so let's create our own controller. So what I want us to do, okay, you guys see over here. Okay, what I want us to do, I want to add a link here that links to our controller. Our controller is going to be called cool. So we're going to have cool controller. Okay, so let's remember, when planning anything, take notes little by little, step by step. So what do we want? We want a controller called cool. So what did I say before? So remember, anything, if you want to create a controller, it's just the name what you want to create and then the word controller. And I want an action. So remember, the action returns, well, most of the time, returns a view. So I want a page or a view that has our name, the roster of our cool club, of our code camp. Is that cool? So,
Yes.
so let's see, roster of our camp. Okay, ship blips. And let's call the action. Let's call the action roster list. Or just roster. Let's keep it simple. Roster. So I am here. So you guys, let me go over again. We want create a controller called cool controller. Actually, in fact, I'm sorry. Let's not even create a controller. Let's take it step by step. Let's take it step by step. My bad. Let's just use the existing controller, the home controller, and add an action that lists the members. Okay, that's much easier, and I think it's probably much better to cement the idea. Okay, so an action called roster. Now, what should I do first? What? Okay, so remember, two things. Let me remind you of the two fundamentals of programming and development. Number one, we are professional Googlers. Say it with me. Go ahead. Repeat.
Professional.
We are professional Googlers.
That's what we do. We Google. Okay. Number two is we copy shit. Say it. Say it. Go ahead.
We copy shit.
We copy shit. Copy paste. That's how. Yeah. Copy paste. That's how we make our money. We copy paste stuff to save time and work, and that's how it is. That's just that's real life right there. That's from A to B right there.
So that public action result, any of those, we could just copy paste those and put in our new. Cool.
Exactly. Yeah. Remember, we're not using our cool control anymore. At least not yet. All we want is just add an action that has the roster. But yes, you're correct. You're like advanced now. Yes. So what do I do? Just copy something? What? All right.
That looks good.
Does that look good? Okay, so it does. It does indeed. Let's see. So
that's nice.
Yeah, it does. Very convenient. So tell me, what do we want? What do we want to call it?
We're gonna call it roster, right?
Yep, here we are. So just roster. Okay. This is nice right here. So roster and a view. And again, it's pretty cool. So far we have the controller part correct and the controller and the action correct. So we are missing two things. We're missing two things. What is one of them? Anyone know?
The view page for the roster.
That's right. That is right. Yes. Does the view page for roster exist currently?
No, we had to add it to the home subfolder.
That's right. Oh my goodness. Yes. So let's remember what's the trick? What is number
Copy,
two?
paste.
Yep. Shablips. Copy. And then you want to paste it here. And then of course it's gonna, what should we call it?
Roster.cshtml.
That is correct. Roster.cshtml. Bloop. Look at that. Make sure always you double click on it, because a lot of the time when you copy and paste something, it's going to automatically go to whatever you copied from. So you're going to think that you're going to be working on the new one while you're editing the old one, which is bad for business. Yeah, I've done that. I still do sometimes. So just make sure you double click and you look at the name of, you see right here, the file, roster. So that's what we're dealing with right there. By the way, this keeps the names of everything you've opened so far. Okay, so view title, let's call it roster. And we could just remove all of this. And let me see, members of the group, right? Well, let's call it H1. You see, so this is, right now I'm using cool HTML. So members, we could just say members. And then in HTML, you have something called unordered list. Which is a list. And was that Dan? Sorry.
Chaos. It's no order.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly for us. That's what we do. LI. So UL stands for unordered list, and LI stands for list item. This is just HTML that over time you will get to know and you will get better at. That is something that I will be assuming. So, members, I guess it's me. All right. Let me see. I guess we'll do it by alphabetical or something. I don't know. Okay, so what is it? Who goes first, Dave or Dan? I think Dan. Okay.
We're at risk of putting an ordered list together here.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. The shame. The shame. Okay, David.
It's alphabetical order. Yes.
Right here. And let's throw Danny in here too, just in case. Oh, actually, Danny's right here. That is correct. And Danny. So I'm going to save this. And again, this is just HTML. It's just an ordered list, just HTML tags, pretty sweet, like we've done this before. So this is pretty cool. So I believe that we have a controller. We have a controller, and we have an action in that controller, and it's pretty nice. And then we have a view for this controller. So now, if I press this, are we missing anything?
Let's see.
I will give you 10 seconds before I press this and see if you guys
Oh
notice.
my God.
Go ahead.
Let me see. Jesus.
All right. Time's up. No, it's okay. I mean, it's okay. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to press it, and we're going to get our web page, our website up. Let's see. We're going to get our awesome web page up, and
What?
well, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, right?
We never made it.
I'm sorry. What?
We didn't make the link.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we created the controller action and the view, but we're not giving it a route to go to. We're not giving it a link. It's just in the ether, out in the ether right now. See, these are links to a resource. So we're not giving it a link how to access the resource that we just created. Aha. So you guys see that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is add another tab, well, another link here that says roster.
If we typed it in, it would work though.
You, my friend, get a fist bump. Oh, yes. I normally don't give out fist bumps this early in the class, but you deserve one. Exactly. You see, home/home/contact. So if I were to say this /home/roster, we have created the route for this. The system knows that there is a roster action in the home controller. Well, let's see. I'm going to go there. Let's see if the path exists. Boom! Look at that. And in fact, it does exist. You guys see that right here? A pretty sweet list and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is pretty cool that you noticed. That's really good. But once we create the resource, we can access it straight by typing it, or we can create some kind of a link to it.
A little more user friendly.
Yeah. Also, one thing that MVC has over normal ASP web pages, which really I should have brought up earlier, and I need to add to the handout or thing. It's user URL friendliness. Okay. Do you guys see how the URL or the URI look like? You see, it has names or words and whatnot. You see how cool that is? Have you ever been to websites that say like slash question mark you know G517 question mark ampersand equals 2 5 things like that? Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah, I've seen
This
those.
is the bane of my existence.
Yes, yes. So I'm not sure if you know, but those kinds of URLs are kind of tricky and not very efficient when it comes to searching. Or like Google looks at them and say, "Oh, okay, this is a URL. This is where you live, but it's kind of, man, your address is fucked up. It's kind of difficult to read." So,
Sometimes that seems intentional, to be honest.
oh yeah, yeah, I think so. Um, you mean how they're formed or Google looking at stuff like that?
How they're made.
Yeah, well, no, it depends on that technology. ASP, that's how it looks like, how they look like. It all that stuff. It depends on the technology that you use. For example, if you use NVC, you can use word. Well, you have to use words that resources are names and they're smooth like this. So when Google looks at it, it's like, oh man, look at this. These are full words. I can read this. I can parse this easily. Man, I like you. I'm gonna put you up here instead of those douchebags over there who I was not able to read. So that is kind of how URI ranking works in a way. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other stuff of how you set up the structure of your website, what kind of stuff, what kind of JavaScript you have running, and that kind of stuff. So, but you get the point, right? I mean, this is kind of user friendly. It looks better. I mean, do we sort of agree on that? Sure. um, so going back to this, uh, what are we missing here? Yeah, sorry, what are we missing?
The link called roster.
Exactly. So let's go and create it. Now I'm gonna get you now. Where is that?
Holy crow.
Ah,
It's on the controller folder.
is it?
Damn it.
Where is it? Where is it? I don't know. I'm gonna look at
Controller, home controllers, .cs.
this one here.
Yeah.
No, this is just routes. This has nothing. This doesn't have any HTML in it. Yeah. Remember, you're looking for already. You're looking for things because it exists. It's an HTML file, and they have links in it. You have anchors. So you're looking for somewhat of an HTML file, I think. So let's see. So the only HTML files that, well, where do we keep HTML files usually? Do you guys remember?
Under the views.
Exactly. Yep. So let's look under home. Well, is it in about? About. Not in about. Not really here. This is in a contact. Index. Okay. Let's see. I don't think it's in here. Maybe, I don't know. But do you guys see any other kind of HTML file that in here anywhere? It's like Dora the Explorer.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's like Dora the Explorer. Sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you. Yeah. This is something that you don't know, so you were not figuring it out. um, do you guys see when we rendered our web page? And this is kind of advanced stuff that you're just gonna have to go with and accept that this is how it works. Um, you see, this is our about page. And hello, and this is a raster page here. When we ran the website, Was there any more information or other things other than our list?
Yeah, it had like a footer.
Yeah, exactly. It had a footer. It had a header. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. This will not. I think we're gonna go. We're keeping it like this, and we're going with this example because this is how it came prepared. But hopefully, you don't get too confused by this. So you guys see it right here. So if we go, let's say we go to our roster here. Okay, so as you see, our roster page has not only does it have our list, but in here you see it has application name, home. So this is a header here, and it has a footer here. Do we see that anywhere in the actual roster page that we need to create that? I mean, it's not in here, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's not. So what we're using currently is called a layout page. And I really did not want to introduce like this, but it's don't let it it's pretty straightforward. It's very straightforward. What it is just it's another web page. So make believe that this thing, this layout page, is the actual page. And do you guys see this thing that says render body here?
Yeah.
Okay. This gets substituted by whatever is in our HTML here. This is yeah, I don't think you guys need to learn this, at least not yet. But just have an idea that it's a web page using parts of another web page, pretty much. It's a template. So next time I'll probably just delete this part and keep it straight up HTML to keep it simple. So let's just fast forward a little bit here, and you see this is where our links would be. Do you see it? Yeah, I'm sorry, I may be confusing you a little here. Don't be confused. Just ignore this part. Don't worry about it.
The layout page.
Okay, so this is a weird way of creating a link in C#. Don't let it scare you. Forget about this. Just don't let it scare you. It's just a helper, a way of making a link for you, an easy way. Okay. So the first one is going to be the link text, I think. It's going to say roster, correct? The next one, the next argument is going to be the name of the action. What is the name of the action? It's going to be roster. And the last one is going to be the controller. The controller is home, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so again, yes, my apologies.
It does have a helpful little thing above us at the HTML action link, application name index home.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, it does. It's very handy.
Different words than we're using, but yeah.
Okay, yes. Yes. So it has a helper. So it's a helper, and it's pretty nice. Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to spend too much here because I don't want you to get confused. Let's go back to our normal HTML. So we did that, and we added that link there. And there it is. You see it? So now we can hop around, and when we click on roster, boom, it goes straight there. I think, one thing that I would like you to keep in mind. I'm about to scare you again. Okay, ready? All right. This is HTML, and so is this HTML here, and so it's pretty much all the stuff in here. But sometimes you may see things that are scary, kind of like this, and just keep in mind that most of the time is going to be HTML. HTML is just, even though it looks like a whole bunch of, like a bunch of, hold on one second, a whole bunch of gibberish, just come down and parse it out. It's pretty simple. All it is just HTML. And you will kind of become, used to it. And this is kind of fancy HTML. Most of the time when we do HTML, it's going to be pretty ugly and pretty straightforward. So you don't have to worry about it too much. But yeah, I mean, you can sort of decipher as you go along. You got head, we got body here. You got an action link. These are just helpers that make HTML for you. So don't freak out. We will get there. For now, our bread and butter and our jam is still going to be normal, easy HTML. But remember, don't freak out. It's just HTML. Okay, so I know this is kind of an extremely crash course on NVC and what this is. And I will make better handouts so you guys can understand this better somewhat. But did you guys at least get some kind of idea of what we're going to be working with or what we're going to be dealing with at all? So NVC, do you have an idea of what NVC is and how we're going to be using it in a way?
I think it was a great lesson. Good for paving the way forward. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Because you're going to be seeing a lot of these things, and as you go, you're going to start making connections of what goes where and how it's used until really it becomes second nature and you don't even think about it anymore. I mean, you're already aware. And again, I would love to sit here and explain to you the why of these, but frankly, there is no why. I mean, when I use the word convention, I mean engineers in Microsoft sat down and say, hey, how do we want to structure this so that it makes sense and that it's easy to use, so we can assume certain resources to be in certain places so that we don't have to use a lot of, a lot of time messing around with fiddling around and messing around with where stuff is. It's just how it is. And believe me, and take it, take my word for it. It works, and it's pretty nice. Especially since once you get the hang of, like, you have a controller, the name of the controller. If you want views for it, where do you go? Like, if you want views for a home controller, where do you go? You go.
Check in the views.
Yeah, you go to views and you go to home, and then those go here. And again, we'll in the next lesson or later on, we'll go over what the shared view is. Basically, what it is, it means you're gonna use this view all the time, and and all those things are gonna kind of come out. All these web pages are gonna be rendered along with the layout. And then you have a whole bunch of cool stuff. But for now, you see, you have these. We'll go over all these things. Yeah, Bootstrap and all that good stuff. Very powerful. But for now, yeah, I think this is somewhat of a decent stopping point. And once we go here, we will start going over and going over some of the lessons, not even over, but going over some of the basic lessons that we went through, but actually using them on here, on the Visual Studio. Because the more you use this and the more comfortable you feel with this, then the easier and the faster you're going to learn. Later on, it's gonna it's gonna be second nature, and the faster that happens, the faster you get to making money. And again, I mean, who here likes making money? I like money.
Same here.
Yeah, yeah. Like, let me give you guys. Let's go to monster.com or something. I don't know. Monster.
I like Indeed.
Really? I always like Monster
Yes.
better.
Monster's old, man.
Is
Indeed or
it?
Glassdoor.
Shit.
It's either Indeed.com or Glassdoor now.
All right. Well, let's go to Indeed. It doesn't matter
Glassdoor
now.
then.
All right. There you go. Well, we'll get there. Yeah, I mean, when you look for, what is it? C Sharp, .NET, NVC. Well, I'm not even. Well, yeah.
Developer.
Yeah, I guess developer. Yeah, developer. I do know. So yeah, so C Sharp, WCF, and you're gonna see all these keywords, man. You're gonna see all these keywords. You got C Sharp, ASP.NET, NVC.
Holy crow.
This is Nevada one or whatever. Full stack. You see the word full stack? See that's kind of what we're trying to get there, but
Yeah.
it's gonna. But yeah, so I want you to read some. Well, not read. We're not gonna read, but yeah, just there you go. Yes, you see, C Sharp, .NET, NVC programming work experience.
5+ years.
No, that's
25.
that's bullshit. That's believe me.
That's
I will tell you this: if you go to any interview and you show them that you know your shit, all this shit it goes out the window. I've interviewed people that say like, "Oh yeah, I got a bunch of years doing this shit," and then I ask them to do a simple program or something, and they're like, "Oh yeah, nah, sorry about that, no," and then they don't get the goods. They don't get the goods.
But don't we start at the junior level?
Yes,
Or
yeah,
like-
no, yeah, you do. This is just
Right, because I saw one for Amazon looking for a junior developer for the Audible subsidiary at
Yeah.
Newark.
oh yeah. Well, yeah, you guys gonna be starting a junior, of course. And let's see. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Ah, shit. What does this guy want? Look at that. Okay, junior software developer, design and develop web.NET applications. And then you got a whole bunch of stuff here, HTML. Okay, so you see 1 to 3 years hands-on experiences with C Sharp and ASP NVC. You see how they throw that NVC in there. That's pretty sweet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So and then SQL, all that stuff. So this job, right? If you go in and you demonstrate, which you will demonstrate, and you will know that you know all this stuff here. Also, do you guys see HTML, CSS, JavaScript? I think I just mentioned Bootstrap, right? And jQuery. Yeah, I mean, you go into one of these interviews, and if you demonstrate that you know your stuff, you're gonna get the job. But again, you see this thing right here. You don't need a degree as long as you demonstrate that you know your stuff. Or equivalent required. Equivalent means know your shit. Say it with me. You got to say it with me. Know your shit.
No, you should.
Seriously. But yeah, South Plainfield. Where is that? That's near me, I think. But anyway, yeah, as long as you go balls out. Oh well, let me stop recording, I guess. But yeah, I think. Oh yeah, when is the next? I think I'll edit this part out or something. I don't know if it's needed. Okay, so